Today is the second Sunday of Easter. Our Gospel reading is from John chapter 20, verses 19 through 31. It's worth noting as we begin this reflection that the three synoptic Gospels, whilst acknowledging Thomas as present, don't feature him in quite the same way as John's Gospel does. And I would like to follow that in John's Gospel. First of all, he is highlighted in today's Gospel, but there are two other places that precede this and, as it were, lead into this. In chapter 11, when we have the incident of Lazarus being announced as sick, and then he dies, and Jesus raises him. When Jesus tells the disciples, let's go to Lazarus, it is Thomas who jumps to his feet and says, come on, fellas, let's go. We'll die with him. Not Lazarus, with Jesus. Clearly at this stage, Thomas reveals himself to be naive, but idealistic. Basically a big-hearted, generous, if impulsive young man. That's chapter 11. Chapter 14, we find a maturing Thomas. And I think we can assume that Jesus is recognizing it and inviting him to continue the journey that he's definitely on. When Jesus says, I'm going away, you know where I'm going. And Thomas immediately, and I think this suggests that Thomas might be a little bit brighter than some of the other apostles, says, no, we don't know the way. We don't know where you're going, so how can we know the way? And Jesus engages him in a very intimate and beautiful way. Thomas, I am the way. I am the truth. I am life. I think we have there not only a Thomas who is maturing, but a Thomas whose relationship with Jesus is deepening. There's an intimacy, beautiful charm, if you like, about that moment. And then we have today's Gospel, two occasions in which Jesus comes amongst the disciples, appears to them after the resurrection. On the first occasion, Thomas is not there. They tell Thomas about it, and he says, I'm not going to believe this. Now, I suspect that in Thomas there's a deep yearning to believe it, that this is hit a chord, it's true, but he's flabbergasted. He's in a fluster. So the next time Jesus appears, Jesus goes to him and says, Thomas, come here. Put your finger in my hands where the nails were, your hand where the wound in my side is. Doubt no longer and believe. I think that's one of the beautiful moments of the Gospels. Great tenderness there. And I think it shows Jesus has a special regard for Thomas and affirms him in this. And Thomas immediately acknowledges it, falls on his knees and says, my Lord and my God. If you take these three stations along the way in Thomas's life with Jesus, I think we can recognize in Thomas a special agent amongst the apostles. His agency is to be a revelation of the incarnation, to help us by his own experience to understand what God is doing in Jesus Christ, to draw us into the same relationship which Thomas shares with Jesus. It's a relationship which might be described as, or a revelation which might be described as becoming aware of the strangeness in the ordinary, strangeness of what's right there before you, a strangeness that is beautiful, deep, liberating, mostly missed by us all. The strangeness of the finite bearing the infinite here, now. the temporal bearing the eternal, here, now. And Jesus says to each of us every day, as an expression of his promise to be with us, come here. Put your finger in the holes in my hands. Put your hand into my side. The crucified Saviour is everywhere, even in you and me. James Macaulay wrote a beautiful poem called Credo, one of many beautiful poems he wrote. And he says something, or he expresses something here, which I think can describe this awakening to the strangeness in the ordinary, the beautiful, the liberating, the presence of the risen Lord, in fact. And so he says, the meaning not ours, but found. We discover meaning. We don't fabricate it. The meaning not ours, but found in the mind deeply submissive, ready for it, awake to it, longing for it, to the grammar of existence, syntax of the real. In other words, I think we can say Jesus is what Macaulay's calling the grammar of existence, the syntax of the real. When we discover what is most real in what is most ordinary, we discover the risen Lord. Macaulay goes on in that same poem, so that alien is changed to human, thing into thinking. For the world's bare tokens we pay golden coin, stamped with the King's image. And poems of prophecy, of a new heaven and earth, a rumour of resurrection.